So, let us see that error again, how the error was coming up. The error was coming from delta y minus dy as earlier in 0.01 times pi. So, this error in approximating delta y with the differential dy at a point x equal to a is delta y minus dy, but delta y is equal to increment in y, which is f of a plus delta x minus f of a, and the differential dy is f prime a times delta x. Fine. So, we combine them together, we find that it is equal to f of a plus delta x minus f a divided by delta x minus f prime a times delta x. So, if we write this bracketed thing as epsilon, it is really epsilon times delta x, and when delta x goes to 0, what happens to this epsilon? We know that limit of f of a plus delta x minus f a divided by delta x minus f prime a equal to 0, because limit of this is equal to f prime a. So, that means limit of this expression, which we write as epsilon, that is equal to 0 when delta x goes to 0. So, you see that error is of a bit higher order than delta x. It is equal to something times delta x, where when delta x goes to 0, that something also goes to 0. So, error is of something of higher order than delta x, not just linear like delta x, it can be delta x square or something like that. So, it says that it is epsilon times delta x, where limit of epsilon as delta x goes to 0 is 0. That is how the error looks like. Let us look at the figure, how it looks. Suppose you have the curve, say y equal to f of x, and at the point A, which is we writing x 0 here, we have the point x 0 f of x 0 on the curve, the blue one, and we have a tangent at that point x 0 f x 0, which is the pink one. Now, at x 0 plus delta x, we have this point on the blue one, that is that height x 0 plus delta x is really f of x 0 plus dx or delta x. Now, then if you look at this point, this is f of x 0. So, the difference between those heights, which is this one, is delta f, that is the increment in f at the point x 0. Okay. And what is df? df is really f prime x 0 times the increment. F prime x 0 is really the slope. So, slope is this height divided by this dx. So, when you multiply that with dx, you would get df. df is really this height, this much. So, all that we say here in the error, that we are approximating this bigger bracket, this much height with this much height. So, the remaining is the error, this one is the error, which can be expressed as epsilon times dx or delta x, where epsilon goes to 0. That is how the error looks when you plot in the graph. Okay. So, we can really apply this notion or this concept of differential to give another proof of chain rule. We have already proved that in a way. Now, we can give another proof of the same chain rule using this notion of differential. So, what the chain rule says, suppose f of x is a differentiable function and at the point A it is differentiable, and suppose g t is another function which is differentiable at f of a. So, really f goes somewhere, then g goes somewhere. If it is a, f is taking it to f of a. Now, g works. So, it is f is differentiable at a and g is differentiable at f of a. Then we want to find out what is the derivative of g o f at a. That is really the chain rule. As we know, it should be equal to g prime of f of a into f prime of a. So, we want to show that this new function y equal to g of f of x is differentiable at x equal to a, and its derivative at x equal to a should be g prime of f a times f prime of a. That is what the chain rule says. And here goes the proof. What do we do? You write u equal to f of x just for notational convenience. Then delta x is the increment in x, delta u is the increment in f at that point A, okay, and delta y is equal to what? That is g of f of x. This is the increment, let us write in y, okay. Delta y is the increment in y. Then what happens? First thing is, as we have seen earlier with that error analysis of the linearization, you can write increment in u, delta u, equal to f prime a plus epsilon 1 times delta x, where limit of this epsilon 1 equal to 0 when delta x approaches 0. Okay. Is that clear? We can go back. You can write this is as error is equal to this times delta x plus this. So, delta y can be written as f prime a plus epsilon times delta x. So, use that now. We can write delta u equal to f prime a plus some epsilon, say epsilon 1 times delta x, where limit of epsilon 1 equal to 0. Okay. What about delta y similarly? Y equal to g of f of x at f of a, we are taking the increment. So, delta y equal to g prime of f of a plus some epsilon 2 times delta of u. U is increment in f, where epsilon 2 limit goes to 0 as delta x goes to 0. Now, we plug in the earlier expression here. This set g prime of f of a plus epsilon 2 into delta u. So, delta u equal to f prime a plus epsilon 1 delta x, with of course, both the limits equal to 0 as delta x goes to 0. Now, you simplify this expression and see what happens. It is g prime of f a plus epsilon 2, one expression, another is f prime a plus epsilon 1 into delta x. So, we take delta y divided by delta x, which is equal to product of these two underlined factors, and when you take the limit, that is equal to by definition dy by dx at x equal to a. So, this equal to limit delta x goes to 0, and that gives you the product, this product limit delta x goes to 0, delta x goes to 0. So, when you take this product, we have epsilon 2 goes to 0, epsilon 1 goes to 0. So, directly you get the answer g prime of f of a into f prime of a. So, it is a simpler way of looking at the chain rule using the notion of differential. Okay. Let us take some problems basing on this. We want to find the linearization of the function x to the power 1 by 3 at the point x equal to minus 8. So, what do we do? Of course, we will differentiate and then compute the necessary functional values f at a, which is minus 8, f prime at a, which is minus 8, and use the linearization. So, first is f of x equal to x to the power 1 by 3. Therefore, what happens? We go to f prime x, differentiate it, that is 1 by 3 x to the power 1 by 3 minus 1, which is x to the power minus 2 by 3. And when we substitute, we get f prime of minus 8 is equal to 1 by 3 minus 8 to the power minus 2 by 3. So, that gives minus 2 to the power minus 2, which is 1 divided by 4, that gives 1 by 12. Okay. So, that is f prime at 8. And what is f at 8? F at 8 is of course 8 to the power 1 by 3, but we want at minus. So, minus 8 to the power 1 by 3, that will be minus 2. So, you get the linearization of f x as this is your L x, which is f at a plus f prime at a into x minus a. A is equal to minus 8. So, simplify, that gives minus 2 as f of minus 8 and x plus 8 remains, f prime is 1 by 12. So, the linearization is x by 12 minus 4 by 3. Okay. So, that means near x equal to minus 8, you can approximate the function x to the power 1 by 3 as this linear expression x by 12 minus 4 by 3. Of course, there will be something which will go to 0 as this difference between the points minus 8 and that new point goes to 0. Okay. So, let us take the second problem. Here we have the function as f of x equal to secant x, and we want to find its linear approximation at x equal to minus pi by 3. Again we proceed the same way, f of x equal to secant of x. So, f at minus pi by 3 is 2. Okay. Now, we go for differentiation. So, secant x derivative is secant x into tan x, and we evaluate that at minus pi by 3. So, secant of minus pi by 3, tan of minus pi by 3, secant is positive, tan is negative. So, that gives minus 2 root 3. Then the linearization is L of x, which is f of a, that is 2 minus f prime, which is minus 2 by 3, and then into x minus pi by 3, right. So, it is f of a plus f prime a into x minus a. So, f prime a is minus here, that is why 2 minus 2 root 3 into x plus pi by 3. So, again it says that in the neighborhood, in a small neighborhood of minus pi by 3, if you choose any x, then the difference between secant x and tan x and this number 2 minus 2 root 3 into x plus pi by 3 will be very small. Okay. That is the notion of this linearization. Okay. So, let us take another problem. Here we are finding the differential. Okay. So, given that 2 into y to the power 3 by 2 plus x y is minus x, find the differential dy. So, that means it is implicitly, the function is implicitly defined, which is y equal to f of x, and the implicit definition is given by this equation. We want to find the differential. So, as you know, differential is equal to f prime at a times the increment in x. And what is this a here? That given some a, you can only find the differential. Changing, if you change this a, then your differential value also will change. So, this is really differential at x equal to a, which we are suppressing, we are not writing it. So, if nothing is asked, that means at any arbitrary point a, where a varies, or you take x itself, at any arbitrary point x, what is the differential? Fine. Okay. So, let us proceed. Once you, first thing is we have to find what is the derivative, what is y prime. So, you differentiate the expression itself using implicit differentiation. So, that gives you 2 into 3 by 2 into y prime, right. So, 2 into 3 by 2 into, it is 2 y to the power 3 by 2. So, you take 2, 3 by 2 into y to the power 3 by 2 minus 1 into y prime. So, that gives you this one, first expression, and then x y gives you what? It is product of two functions. So, first into y prime plus derivative of first into y. So, that gives you x y prime plus y, and x differentiation is minus 1. So, that is equal to 0. By solving this, we should get our y prime. Fine. So, that gives 3 square root of y prime plus x equal to 1 minus y, or that gives y prime equal to 1 minus y divided by 3 root y plus x. And then at any arbitrary point x, its differential will be equal to this times dx. That is what it is, dy equal to this expression times dx. That is really the differential. Okay. So, what does this differential do? It is really an estimate of delta y, increment in y at any point x. It is just a linear, something called linearization, but it is not exactly, it is nearby, right. dy is nearby that delta y. That is what this differential means. Okay. So, let us go to the next problem. We have the function f of x equal to 1 by x. We want to approximate the increment delta f at any point x, okay, with the differential df. Now, we are telling that it is not abstractly at any point, but at some particular point, say it is x equal to a equal to 0.5. So, that means you have the point x equal to a for this function, where a is equal to 0.5. We say that this point changes to 0.6. So, which means your delta x equal to 0.6 minus 0.1, which is 0.1. With this delta x, find df, find delta f, and then take their error, that is the error in approximation, which is delta y minus df. So, this error we want to approximate, right, or find out this error. We can really find out exactly at x equal to 0.5. Fine. So, we have f of x equal to 1 by x. So, we take its derivative, which is minus 1 by x square, and dx is equal to 0.1. Okay. So, now delta f is equal to f of 0.6 minus f of 0.5. So, when you substitute, you get 1 divided by 0.6 minus 1 divided by 0.5, which is minus 1 divided by 3. And what is df? df equal to f prime at a times the increment in x, which is f prime 0.5 into 0.1, and f prime, if you substitute 0.5, you would get 1 divided by 0.5 into 0.1, and it is minus sign. So, that makes to minus 2 by 5. Then what is the error? The error is their difference, delta f minus df, which gives you minus 1 by 15. So, it is the reciprocal. So, when you reciprocal is linearized, it is not a really good approximation, right. This is what it shows. This difference should go to 0, as our difference between these 2 points goes to 0. It is 0.1, but you get minus 1 by 15. It is almost same order, not varying much, right. Okay. That does not contradict, of course, epsilon goes to 0 as delta x goes to 0. That will still go, but this is not really very close to 0, it is 0.1. So, even with this we get error which does not go beyond this 0.1, that is what it shows. Okay. Let us take the next problem. We want to show something here. What is to show? A point is fixed and we have two functions f and g. So, they are of course defined in a neighborhood of that a, and we consider their sum f plus g. Now, f plus g is a new function. We have a linearization of f at a, we have a linearization of g at a, also we have a linearization of f plus g. So, what is the relation between those three linearizations of the functions? That is what being asked. We want to really show that this sum of the linearizations is equal to linearization of the sum, that is to be shown. That should be quite easy. What do we do? Let us find out first the linearization of f, that is equal to f of a plus f prime a times x minus a, where x is in a neighborhood of a. And what is the linearization of g? Instead of x, we are writing f and g here for easy notation. So, L of g equal to g of a plus g prime a into x minus a. And what is L of f plus g? F plus g by definition is f plus g of a means f a plus g of a. Similarly, f plus g prime a equal to f prime a plus g prime a, right, multiplied by x minus a, that is the linearization of L of f plus g. So, when you come to expand this, this is f a plus g a, and f plus g prime is g prime, this is really f prime at a plus g prime at a into x minus a. So, when you combine them, you combine f of a with f prime of a into x minus a, that gives you L of f, and the other two which are remaining, that gives you L of g, and that is it. Okay. So, that is what we have shown, that the linearization of the sum equal to sum of the linearizations. Okay. So, let us go to next problem. It asks to get a differential formula that estimates the change in the lateral surface area of a right circular cone when the radius changes from a to a plus dr, but the height remains constant. So, you have a circular cone, there is some radius, say it is a, the height remains same and you are changing this right circular cone to another with the difference being dr. So, this distance is dr. So, it asks to find what is the change in the lateral surface area. So, this surface area. So, that surface area formula is given, of course, you know pi r into square root of r square plus h square, this is r, and r square plus h square, square root. So, that is pi r into square root of r square plus h square. We want to find the change in that function. So, here we take s of r as a function, it is s of r is pi r into r square plus h square square root. Height is remaining constant, h is constant. So, now we take ds by dr, which is pi r into square root of r square plus h square, it is a product. So, you take r square plus h square and derivative of r, which is 1, plus pi and then r into square root of r square plus h square derivative. So, that is giving you this expression, pi into r square plus h square plus pi r square divided by square root of r square plus h square. Okay. So, then we want to estimate the change, not find the exact change, right. Of course, you can find the exact change. So, our estimation is through the differential, that delta s is approximately equal to ds. So, we find ds, ds equal to f prime, that is s prime here times dr, and that is really the change. Okay. Is that fine? So, let us stop here.